Welcome back to Mystic English, the place where we don't just teach you English, we tell you stories your heart understands. Here, we don't chase grammar books. We chase emotions, life lessons, and the words you've always felt but never said. Because learning English shouldn't be boring. It should feel like coming home to yourself. They say your first heartbreak doesn't break your heart, it breaks your soul. And for Aiden, it shattered his whole world. This isn't a story filled with glamour or grand declarations. No, it's a story of silence, of quiet efforts, unspoken sacrifices, and a kind of love that asks for nothing but presence. This is a story about the moment a man needed someone the most, and she walked away without looking back. It's not just about pain. It's about being invisible while giving your all. About staying up late to build a dream, while the one you love searches for excitement elsewhere. And yet, in this story, somewhere between heartbreak and healing, something beautiful is born. Listen closely, because this story, Aiden's story, might resonate with your own heart too. It is a tale about a time when his world felt incredibly heavy, when every single step he took was a struggle, and when the person he loved more than anything decided, simply, to walk away. It is about that crushing moment when he needed someone, truly needed their presence and support, and they just left. She left him when he needed her the most. Aiden remembered those days so clearly, like a painful slow-motion movie playing over and over in his mind. He was working 2 jobs, sometimes even 3, just to keep things going, just to keep their heads above water in the demanding city. His days were not filled with parties, loud music, or endless fun. He wasn't spending money on fancy gadgets or expensive nights out. No, Aiden was saving every spare dollar, not spending it. He was building, brick by painful brick, not drifting aimlessly through life. He was dreaming, not just wishing upon stars, but working with every fiber of his being to make those dreams real. He was trying to build a solid foundation, a secure future for both of them, a future he believed they would share. But she, his beloved Lila, wanted fun, constant attention, and immediate validation every single second of her day. She craved constant excitement, new thrills, and someone who could give her all their time, right then and there, without delay. And Aiden, with all his efforts, simply couldn't give her that. Not when he was still in the raw process of building himself, still laying the very first bricks of their shared future. His hands were always busy, calloused from work. His mind was constantly full of plans, calculations, and worries. And his wallet was often empty, because every extra dollar, every bit of overtime pay went into building that future, into paying bills, into saving for a dream that felt so far away. He couldn't reply to her texts every hour, couldn't be at every social gathering, couldn't live in the moment when he was fighting so desperately for their tomorrow, for a better life, for them both. He remembered her words, sharp and cold, cutting deeper than any knife could. They echoed in his mind long after she spoke them. Lila had looked at him, her eyes once full of warmth and affection, now distant, almost judging. "You're too busy, Aiden," she had said, her voice flat. "You're always working. You're just too common. My friends have boyfriends who take them everywhere, who are always there for them, who buy them nice things. You're not like that." The word common felt like a brand, a burning mark pressed onto his very soul. It meant he wasn't exciting enough, not rich enough, not free enough for her desires. She wanted a life of constant joy, immediate pleasure, and endless leisure. And he, Aiden, was offering a life of hard work, quiet hope, and delayed happiness, a future that required patience and sacrifice. She didn't want to wait for the distant harvest. She wanted the ripe fruit right now in her hand. And so, as the days grew longer and his work hours grew heavier, she started looking elsewhere. She began talking to new guys, different faces. New faces meant new thrills, new bursts of attention, new places to go, new stories to tell. One after the other, she kept trying people. She would jump from one relationship to the next, always searching for someone more exciting, more thrilling, more ready to give her everything she wanted right now, without any questions or delays. She was like a rolling stone, always moving, always looking for the next shiny thing, the next easy pleasure. They say, a rolling stone gathers no moss, meaning it doesn't stay in one place long enough to build anything. But what they forget is, rolling stones also never settle. They never build a home. They never find true peace. They just keep moving, restless and unfulfilled. And slowly over time, as she chased one fleeting thrill after another, she began to change. Lila became the kind of girl you might meet on the streets. Lost and searching for something she couldn't quite name, not the pure, hopeful girl he had once dreamed of building a life with. And Aiden? He just kept showing up. For work, even when his body screamed for rest. For his family, even when they didn't fully understand his struggles. For himself, even when his heart felt like a hollow drum. He showed up. Quietly, painfully. Every morning the alarm still screamed its harsh song. Every day his hands still ached from the physical labor. Every night he still worked those extra jobs, delivering food or moving furniture, while the rest of the city slept. The pain of her leaving, the sharp sting of her cruel words, it stayed with him. It was a constant companion, a heavy, suffocating weight in his chest that never quite lifted. But slowly, almost imperceptibly, that pain also began to transform. It became a quiet fire, burning deep inside him, a hidden source of strength. He didn't chase her. He didn't try to win her back, didn't beg for her return. He just focused on the work, on the building, on the slow, steady progress. He poured his pain into his efforts, turning sadness into a fierce, silent strength. He learned to rely only on himself, to find comfort in his own quiet progress, in the small victories of each finished job, each saved dollar. He learned that he was capable, even alone. Years passed. The days blurred into weeks, the weeks into months, and the months into a silent procession of years. The city lights still sparkled outside his window, but now they didn't feel so distant or mocking. They felt like a part of his world, a world he was now building for himself. He had built a life, a good one. It wasn't a life of grand mansions or luxury cars, not the kind of life everyone dreams of. But it was solid. It was real. He had a decent job, a steady income that was now enough to cover his family's needs without constantly taking on exhausting odd jobs. He had managed to save enough for a small but comfortable apartment that truly felt like a home, a sanctuary of peace and quiet. His heart, once shattered into a million pieces, had slowly, carefully healed itself. It was a calm heart now, no longer filled with the desperate longing for someone else's approval or affection. He had found his own worth, not in what he could give to her, but in what he had built for himself, through sheer will and tireless effort. And then, one day, out of nowhere, Lila's name appeared on his phone screen. A message. "I miss us." Just those 3 simple words, hanging there in the digital space. His heart didn't pound. His hands didn't shake. He felt nothing. Or rather, He felt a quiet, deep certainty, a profound sense of peace. She wanted to come back. He imagined her, the same smile, the same eyes, perhaps a little older, a little more tired from her restless journey. But something was missing from her, something that had been lost along her path, a purity, a simple honesty, a true sense of self that had once been there. She had rolled from one place to another, from one person to the next, always searching, and she clearly hadn't found what she was truly looking for. Aiden looked at her message, and then he looked around his small, peaceful apartment. He thought about the quiet satisfaction of his work, the respect he had earned from his colleagues and his family, the calm evenings he now enjoyed, reading or simply resting. He thought about the long, hard road he had walked alone, the pain he had endured, the strength he had found within himself, and he knew. He had already learned the biggest lesson of life, a truth that had been forged in the fires of his deepest pain, a truth that now shone brightly in his understanding. When someone leaves you during your lowest, when your hands are empty and your future is uncertain, don't let them back when you rise. They don't deserve the view from your mountain. He didn't reply to her message. He didn't want to trade the deep peace he had found, the solid ground he had built for himself, for a piece of his painful past. His journey had been incredibly hard, yes, but it had made him strong, resilient, and wise. He knew now, with absolute clarity, that a woman who left you hungry doesn't deserve to eat at your feast. Don't chase people who walked away when your hands were empty, when you had nothing but dreams and determination. They don't deserve to hold your hands now that they're full, now that you have built a life of substance. And for anyone listening to this, for anyone who has felt that sharp sting of being left when you needed someone the most, remember this truth. Sometimes rejection is not a punishment, but simply a redirection to something better, something meant for you. It's not the end of your story. It's the powerful beginning of a stronger, more authentic one. Don't ever let temporary people, those who only stay for the easy times, decide your permanent worth. Your worth is not in how much attention you can give, or how much money you can spend, or how exciting you are to others. Your worth is in your character, your quiet strength, your unwavering determination, and your ability to build something meaningful from nothing. Focus on building yourself, on becoming the best version of you, not on proving yourself to those who never truly saw or valued you. Love, true love, is not about who stays during your best moments, when everything is easy and fun. True love, true belief, is about who believes in you during your worst, when you are struggling, when you have nothing but dreams and the courage to work hard. Growth is quiet. It happens in the lonely hours, in the difficult choices, in the moments when you keep going even when no one is watching, when no one is cheering you on. But so is peace. Peace is also quiet. Choose both. Choose to grow, choose to find your own peace, your own strength, your own mountain. Your mountain is waiting for you to climb it, and the view from the very top is only for those who truly earned it, step by painful, powerful step. So if you're still holding on to someone who let go of you first, don't. If they couldn't stand beside you when your hands were calloused and your dreams were still in blueprint form, they don't deserve a seat at your table now that you've made it. Aiden didn't get revenge. He got clarity and peace, and a life that no longer depends on someone else's presence to feel complete. Remember, those who left you at your lowest should never be allowed to witness your rise. So build, rise, heal, and when your past knocks again, let silence answer. Because sometimes, silence says what words never can.